What's up to Lion Talk Live? We love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. It is Thursday, Lions Talk Live. It is now officially go time. It is 1 week before the NFL draft, and yes, we're going to break down a question maybe we should be asking a little bit more often. And it came to me earlier this morning, whatever, around 5 o'clock a.m. I was like, man, when the draft hits, who are going to be the current Lions players under the most pressure looking at what's going to go down in the NFL draft? Let's be honest, there are going to always be winners and losers in a draft. There's going to be the players you're bringing in and the players that might start getting a little, nervous looking at potential replacements for them. Well, it's never going to change. As long as you have players coming in, you're going to have players going out. You can only keep 53 guys. So I want to see what the Duke Crew has to say about this list we came up with. I think it's a fairly good one. Let's dive into it during the main topic of the day. Before we get into that, before we get into the 5 headlines now, you know the drill. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Making that march for 13,600 subs. And we are, 72 subs away. So if you can help out with that, that would be great. Also, if you have half second of time, it doesn't cost you a dang dime. Reach on down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button. Just run your hands across the keyboard or whatever it is, the phone, the TV, and hit all the buttons. Hit all the buttons, help the channel out. We try to get every episode of the show between 200, 300, 400 or more thumbs up or likes. Last but never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the continental United States of America, let alone the great state of Michigan where I reside, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You now see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Shout out to Sue. I'll be showing her some houses tomorrow over in the Eastern Michigan University area. So yes, Sue, I'll contact you later with those times today. And then also, I'm going to have to make this show a little bit shorter today. I've got to go actually show a survival shelter in Southwest Michigan, and I'm going to have to put on some gear and dig through the mud a little bit into some aspects of it. So it's going to be a dirty day for Dapper Dan. I don't know how you want to say that. But if you have any questions, been in the profession for over 30 years, give me a call, shoot me a text. We'll go from there. I'll see if we can save you some time, save you some money. Make sure nobody works you over on the deal you're getting for your mortgage or whatever it is. All right, with all that done, set out of the way, let's get the show rocking and rolling and going and get into the first segment, which, as you know, is 5 headlines now. All right, 5 glorious headlines now, 7 days before the NFL draft. All right, like a lack of news on forgotten Lions free agent raises questions about future NFL future. Story by Fanside. Joe Summer, good old Joey Summer, has got some questions for us, and I think it's fair. Remember last year for the Washington Commanders game, I think a lot of fans, maybe not all, but a good portion of the fans were stunned that Hendon Hooker wasn't the number 2 quarterback. Also, Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy Two Gloves, he was the backup quarterback, not starting quarterback, but he was the number 2 quarterback for that game. We haven't heard anything about Teddy Two Gloves since then, so it has raised some questions. Could the Lions potentially still be looking at re-signing him? Is he going to go back and just coach high school football in Florida, or is he going to sign with another team? I'm not sure what the Lions are going to do, but at least at the here and now, what we can all say is it does look like Hendon Hooker will be the number 2 quarterback. A lot of us has kind of speculated why the Lions didn't make Hooker the number 2 quarterback for last year's playoff game against the Washington Commanders. My personal feelings, and I don't have any kind of information on this, it's just personal feelings. It was because Teddy, had started NFL games Hooker had it. You wanted somebody who out there in a playoff game in that scenario, who's been there, done that. But beyond him, what about some other players? What about Zadarius Smith? The fact that he isn't signed with somebody else, let alone the Detroit Lions. Could this be indications that maybe the NFL just isn't hip on the jive on re-signing any guy? Or could it be that these veterans are simply taking their time, enjoying some time off? You know, they don't need to really go through the grind of training camp like many other younger players probably do. Could it be that these guys will be coming back? Could it be they go somewhere else? Well, there is speculation in this report that the Bengals could potentially go after Teddy Bridgewater. Now, keep in mind, the Bengals did sign Logan Woodside recently to their roster to be in the competition for the backup quarterback spot. Bridgewater, he's been there, he's done that, whatever you want to say. He's been a starting quarterback a lot of different times, and he's had a lot of success in his NFL career. What do you think? Do the Lions look to bring him back, or do you think he's going to sit on the sideline for a while and just coach high school football or whatever it is? In regards to Zadarius Smith, you hear all sorts of reports that the Philadelphia Eagles want him, this team wants him, that team wants him, and yet he hasn't been signed. Do you think one of these guys or both these guys end up being Detroit Lions next year? Let me know in the comment section. All right, notes. Experts explain what makes Dan Campbell's speeches so powerful. SB Nation, story by Kelly Rowe. And you know what? I think we all get it. Dan Campbell, he can motivate some people. He's got that whole, mantra when he walks in the room, either pregame, postgame, halftime. He can fire people up. He speaks from his heart. Everybody knows he's talking from, he's not putting on any kind of mask or front. He is who he is, and I think that really resonates with the players. Being a former player, now being a coach, people don't have to guess what his interior or exterior motives are. It is exactly what he says it is. If he says he's got your back, he really does. And I think that is why some of his speeches are so impressive. Whether you're talking about impressors, the locker room, or whatever, people know that this is a guy who's going to say exactly what he thinks. And I think most of us, I don't care if you're an athlete or not, you get most people you work for probably have alternative motives. When they come up and talk to you, whether you're working at this business, that line of work, whatever, they just feel like, maybe this person isn't being totally upfront with us. That's not the case with Dan Campbell, and I think that is why players want to come here, play for him, and also once they're here, they're pretty loyal to the MCDC, let alone the Detroit Lions. Quote, Campbell's speeches have all the hallmarks of Aristotle's theory of classical rhetorical, said James Holt, an adjustment professor at the Columbian University School of International and Public Affairs who teaches speech writing and public speaking. There are elements of pathos or emotions, logos, data, and kairos, timing, and there is a typical performance aspect that calls to mind a one-man show. That's right. So you've had somebody at the university level break down Campbell's normalities, his patterns, his body language, his vocal tones. Jen would laugh at me when I say that. But at any rate, you can see that people have actually put forth effort into studying MCDC and trying to replicate, if they can, in their classes, teaching people how to be better at public speaking. It's a big credit for Dan Campbell because you have people in the professional levels. So Ivy League, you have people in, S&P 500 clubs, or I shouldn't say clubs, but businesses trying to replicate some of the leadership's styles and things that make MCDC work. Let's not forget, you're seeing his effects, not just for the Detroit Lions, but also in the business world, as people are bringing him in, hiring him to actually give public speeches to their employees and trying to help motivate them. It says a whole lot about the leader of the Detroit Lions that his strengths as a leader, as a head coach, are now being recognized worldwide, and people are trying to analyze them. That's no small feat. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Another critical draft need for the Detroit Lions, story by Sue Levine of the Last Word on Sports. Good old Sue. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this one. I'm just going to break it down and kind of just skip through the notes. Sue Levine thinks the Lions need to address tight end sooner versus later in the draft. She gives a number of different thoughts on it, including LSU tight end Mason Taylor. Now, for those who don't know, he is 6'5", 250 pounds, very athletic, and can block. For those who also don't know, he is the son of NFL Hall of Famer Jason Taylor and the nephew of Hall of Famer linebacker, Zach Taylor. So he's got it in the bloodline. Could he be a person of interest for the Lions? It is possible. He's had some real good receptions after a collegiate career that included the production of 129 receptions, 1,308 yards. Taylor decided to forego his senior year and declare for the draft. It'll be interesting to see where he lands in the draft. And, I have seen a couple different things that have him here, there, whatever. But Taylor is a person of interest. She goes on to name Gunnar Helm. He's 6'5", 240 pounds, senior from Texas. And there are a number of other tight ends. I'm not going to go through them all here. You get it, though. She broke it down. She thinks the Lions need an additional tight end. Sam Laporta, we get it. He's got a couple years left on his rookie deal. But beyond that, Brock Wright, his contract's going to be done sooner versus later. Could the Lions look to improve the depth of the tight end position? Lions want to run it. They got a vertical game, it would appear, for next year coming in. It means you're going to have to block a little bit longer to give some of those deeper shots a little time to get open. You know what? We'll see if the Lions do add a tight end, but she does feel, Sue Levine, that the Lions are going to address it sooner versus later in next week's draft. All right, Dan Campbell has his work cut out from with Lions pick in new NFL mock draft. Silent report. Cameron Ellis with this one. It's one of the downsides of mock draft season. Everybody changes their tune. We're taking this guy this week. Nah, we're going to go with this guy that week. We get it. You do have to take mock draft mania or time of the year with a grain of salt, because I really think most people don't even analyze these picks. Most pundits in the national media, they don't pay attention to really teams' tendencies or whatever. They just kind of throw a dart in the board and say, he's a good fit, go there. And I don't think that's the case at all. With that being said, though, there is a person of interest in this report that they name as a potential draft pick for the Lions. Man, I'm getting a little tongue-tied twisted there. Maxwell Harrison, defensive back out of Kentucky. I wouldn't be mad if the Lions went and got him, and I think he would instantly add some upgrading to the Lions secondary. If you don't know the guy, I understand it, but hey, let's just walk through him real quick. He is from Detroit. He's from West Bloomfield, went for the West Bloomfield High School. He's 6 foot, maybe 6'1" on a good day if you spike up the hair or whatever. But the kid is fast. He's fluid. He gets in and out of breaks, and he is pretty sticky in coverage. He would help out, if nothing more, probably for the depth aspect of things. The Athletic also did a breakdown of Maxwell Harrison going to the Detroit Lions. I would be interested to see what you guys have to say about it. He's runs the 40 in under 4.3. I want to say it's 4.27. Don't hold me to that. I don't have it in front of me. But he's got some size. He's got some mass. He's got some speed. He can cover people. Would you be upset if the Lions went with him sooner in the draft versus later? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. But we have talked about, maybe some winners and losers in this upcoming draft. If the Lions were to go for Harrison, you have to think they're targeting getting rid of some other people. We'll have to pay attention next week. All right, last of the 5 headlines now. Not a huge one here, but I wanted to get into it. Ranking all 32 of the NFL's current quarterback situations by DT AP Wire. So, again, not going to spend a lot of time on this one, but here we'll just dive into it. Where does Jared Goff rank? Well, you know what? We're not going to go through all 32 teams, but let's start at number 1 and work our way down the list. Is Jared Goff number 1? Unfortunately, no. That would go to the Buffalo Bills. We all get it. Allen he's big, he's fast, he's here, he's there, he's everywhere. He's got a cannon for an arm. Number 2, I was a little surprised by this, that they didn't have Patrick Mahomes listed as number 1 overall, but he's now number 2 in the league. He's been supplanted by Allen. I'll let you go with that if you think Josh Allen is or is not better. Number 3, Cincinnati Bengals have the 3rd best quarterback position out there, Joe Burrow. I get it. The kid can play. He can sling it. He can wing it. He's just got to stay healthy on a more consistent basis and get some help from his organization. Number 4, Baltimore Ravens. Lamar is an incredible athlete. Unfortunately, he just hasn't won in the postseason. I think that's why they're docking him. Is it on him? Is it on the team? Is it on the coaches? Is it on everybody? I would say this. I don't point the finger at any one unit. I point at everybody over in Baltimore. You can't say one person is absolved from it. If you're a part of the team, you know what? We win as a team. We lose as a team. That's some coach speak there. All right, 5, the Philadelphia Eagles. I was a little surprised by this. I really like Jalen Hurts. I really do. I think he probably doesn't get enough credit for being the quarterback that he is, just because they don't ask him to overly do stuff. They kind of rely on the entire team process. But I think if you put him in a different system, gave him more opportunities to pass, run, etc., he'd probably put up a lot better numbers, but they're number 5. Number 6, I disagreed with this one. The Los Angeles Rams and Matthew Stafford. And I want to be real clear. I like Matty Stafford. I loved him when he was here. I rooted for him when he left here. Hey, have him have his due. Whether or not the Rams are in the 6th best situation in the NFL, I don't know, man. But, hey, be honest, Matty Ice can still sling it all over the place, but he is getting a little up there in age. Number 7, Los Angeles Chargers and Herbert. Justin Herbert, we get it. He's talented. He's got a lot of stuff. You know what? I like him until the playoffs, and then he hasn't been the greatest. But they do have, overall, I think, a pretty good quarterback depth chart. So it's going to be harder to find somebody better than them. Number 8, Washington Commanders. Hey, Jaden Daniels, Lions fans, unfortunately, know way too much about him after last year. Kid, though, as a rookie, he was as cool as ice throughout that entire rookie year. What he did out there for a rookie was dang impressive. Can he do it in year 2? Can he do it now that every defensive coordinator he's going to face has got tons of tape on him? I guess we'll wait and see. And then number 9, the Detroit Lions, Jared Goff. Goff, hey, we get it. In LA, he did all sorts of great things outside of his rookie year. After his rookie year, though, you could really see him move up the charts. You could see his performance, why he was the Rams traded from number 12 or something like that up to number 1 to get him, all that kind of stuff. Brad Holmes was a part of that trade, by the way. And also you can understand why the Lions said, hey, you don't want Jared Goff? Well, we'll take him in his contract, leave him in. You all know the story. I'm not going to bore you with it. But during his time in Detroit, it would really be hard if you took the name off of him and just put the stats out there. It would be really hard to find a quarterback in this league that has put up more consistent and better numbers during Goff's career. And you could even say just his time in Detroit. I know there are some people that hate him, whatever, this, that, and the other thing. If you just look at the stats at the end of the day, Jared Goff is a top 10 quarterback. And I would even argue, man, if you looked at just the stats, and I get people are going to say, well, he can't run. Great. Well, quarterbacks throw, and yes, if you can run, that doesn't hurt. But if you just look at his passing stats, it's going to be hard to pick 2 or 3 quarterbacks who have had a better run in the last 4 to 5 years than Jared Goff. All right, with all that done, set out of the way, let's get this show heading on over to the main top of the day. Be interested to see what you guys have to say as far as who's probably sweating the most on Detroit's roster going into next week's draft. All right, well, we'll spend some time on this, but let's see what the Duke has to say. We're going to go bit by bit, position by position. Who do you think, if anybody, is under pressure out there? Start at the top. We just mentioned Jared Goff. Is he under any real pressure out there come next week? In my opinion, you guys let me know in the comment section your opinion. I think there's about a 0% chance the Detroit Lions select a quarterback in round 1 or 2. But what if they take someone in round 3? I guess you could say, hey, Hendon Hooker's probably sweating too if that happens, because that means he's probably close to being out of here, if not out of here. I just don't see a scenario where the Lions select in the 3rd round or 4th round a quarterback. Hendon Hooker remains. And Jared Goff, while I don't think he'd get supplanted this year or next year, could it be an indication that the team is looking to move on from him once his contract is kind of, for the most part, over? I guess let me know. But I think Jared Goff's safe. Hendon Hooker, though, I do believe he'll be doing a little bit of sweat next week once we get to like round 3 or 4. Again, I think there's 0 chance in round 1 or 2 it goes down. But beyond that, could it? I guess let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Running backs. Gibbs ain't going anywhere anytime soon. I guess we could all agree with it. Even if you like me or dislike me, you agree with my comments, you disagree with the comments, whatever. I don't think they were drafting to replace Gibbs anytime soon. But what about Craig Reynolds and David Montgomery? Monty did sign a new deal. He's got a couple years here, but last year the deal, the second year of the deal, I think if the Lions really wanted out of him, they could. And I don't think they're going to, but Sion Vaki too. So right there, you've got potentially 3 guys that I think in round 1 or 2 or 3, and I don't think we're doing anything in round 1 or 2 unless, man, just really the best player by a long shot is out there. We were all kind of caught off guard right after signing David Montgomery that we went out and got Jahmyr Gibbs. Could the Lions do something similar again? We know MCDC loves him, some running game, loves to pound the ball. Could the Lions look to make a move there? Let me know your thoughts there. Wide receiver, I'll just say this. I don't think St. Brown sweating in any way, shape, or form in regards to being replaced anytime soon. That also being said, there has been some speculation, as you guys all know, in the last, whatever it's been, 2 or 3 days, that maybe J-Mo could be traded and his replacement brought in. After that, I guess the only other person in that wide receiver room who could be sweating is Timmy Patrick. Tim Patrick's on a 1-year deal. Could the Lions look to replace him? I think absolutely. Could it be round 1, 2, or 3? Yes, I do believe that is a potential. We've heard about Golden to the Lions in potentially the first round. Higgins yesterday for the kid from Ohio State in the second round. The Duke Crew mock draft. You guys selected him. I can see it. I'm not gonna lie. Outside of St. Brown, I personally would not get rid of Jameson Williams. I want to be real clear on that. There's no way I'd let him out of the building. In fact, I would offer him a 2-liter of Mountain Dew every day, part of his new deal when he resigns. But could the Lions absolutely, if nothing else, address the number 3-4 wide receiver spot? Yes, I think that's a potential there. As far as the tight end room, Brock Wright's awesome. Sam Laporta's good, but the Lions probably could use an upgrade at the number 3 spot. Could that number 3 be brought in to potentially replace Wright at some point? And I guess you could even speculate just because what happened with TJ Hockenson, even though I think Laporta overall is a better tight end than TJ Hockenson. I liked Hockenson. I just didn't love his route running and stuff like that. And you guys heard me talk about it before. I would put this pretty low on the list, but I would say, maybe in the middle rounds, maybe you could take somebody who's a project, bring him in and try to start developing a replacement for Wright, or maybe in some situation, Sam Laporta. Offensive line, I'll just group them together. I'm not going to do, tight end or tackles, guards, centers. I do think there's some pressure here on a couple guys. Graham Glasgow, I'm guessing he will be sweating on draft night because I think most of us would agree outside of edge, getting some better improvement and the offensive line would be also out there. Another person I'll put there that could be in the sweat box could be Taylor Decker. If the Lions pull a fast one, and I do think there's some real legitimacy to this, Lions pull a fast one and one of the better tackles fall to them in the draft, could Taylor Decker's replacement be coming in next week? I think there is a chance for that. And I know it hasn't been discussed much, but I do think Taylor Decker, while I don't think he played bad last year, not by a long shot, I do think in the last 2 years, though, you're starting to see some signs of age hit him. You're starting to see some moments here and there. The injuries popping up a little bit, not bad, but a little bit here and there. Would you be upset in round 1 if the Lions happen to get one of the, say, top 3 offensive tackles, fall to them in round 1, and they take one of them? And then say, hey, Taylor Decker, you got to win the job in camp. If you can't, you're probably sliding to guard because Graham Glasgow and Taylor Decker, they're the holdovers from the Quintricia era. I want to say both of them were drafted in 2016. Don't hold me to that, but that sounds about right. So let's be honest. Age is not good for an athlete, in most cases at least. And I could see the Lions going that way. I think you'll be seeing both guys sweat to a certain degree next week. What say you, though, Duke Crew? All right, defensive line. I guess unless your name's Broderick Martin, probably the rest of them are feeling pretty good about their positions. Broderick Martin, though, let's be honest. The kid's got all sorts of athleticism, all sorts of promise. Man, when we drafted him and everybody saw his RAS scores, his bench press, and everything else with him, they're like, man, he is a cartoon out there. He is a freak athlete. Unfortunately for the freak athlete, he's got to produce. You could say, just his stance, this, that, the hand placement, whatever you want to say, and break down with him, the footwork, it just as of yet hasn't clicked. Now, that also being said, I pointed out a number of times on the show, a lot of athletes take 3 years to really hit. And we could look at Iffy, Derek Barnes, and Darius Slay, a gajillion other former Lions over the years that, hey, first year, 2 years weren't so great. Third year, they broke out and right as rain. So let's hope, just for selfish reasons, let's hope that Broderick Martin does do well here this offseason and in the preseason. And you know what? We can all look at him and go, man, that gamble really paid off this third year for him. That also being said, I do think the pressure's on him, and it's not a weight on his shoulder holding him down. I think it's a Ford truck holding him down right now because the Lions more than likely, for round 1 or 2, they're going to take an edge and maybe a defensive tackle. If they invest something like that into the defensive tackle spot, Broderick Martin's time here in Detroit is probably close to donezo, unless he just really knocks the cover off the ball in training camp. All right, edge, like I said, I'm going to just put defensive tackle edge together there. I do think the Lions are going to address it Is anybody really under pressure? Well, I guess the one person you could say is Zadarius Smith, because if the Lions double down at the spot, maybe Zadarius isn't coming back. I don't think they're going to cut the cheap contract of Marcus Davenport. Sorry, Pierce. I know you want him gone, but hey, I just don't see that happening. And then also, Alaquin Muhammad, again, his contract is very team friendly, so I don't see them getting rid of him unless he just, either one of them don't do well in camp, then maybe, I guess, you go from there. Linebacker spot, here's where I think it really starts getting interesting. You love, at least I think most of you love, Alex Anzalone. And what the downside of it is, we're talking about age starting to get up there a little bit. Cost for the players start getting up there. Could the Lions look to replace Alex Anzalone or others like Malcolm Rodriguez or whatever with draft picks this year? I do think there's a potential for it. Now, I think Alex Anzalone is probably a little bit lower on the list than Malcolm Rodriguez, but I've been wrong before. Alex Anzalone is one of the best, if not the best, coverage corners out there in the NFL. So the chances of replicating him with a draft pick or a free agent signing, it's pretty low. I mean, I just don't think it's going to be easy to do. At the same time, it's the same story we talk about a lot on this show, and I'm sure you guys hear it on the shows. You can't keep everybody. Lions love re-signing their own. Hey, they've re-signed Anzalone a couple times. His contract expires after next year. Could it be the Lions start looking to move on from him sooner versus later? Most of us, maybe I shouldn't say most, but some of us were surprised that Derek Barnes got a new 3-year deal. I think that a lot of the wisdom was he was going to the Jets or some other place. They kept him, though. They signed him to a deal. Jack Campbell's got a couple years left on his rookie deal. Could it be that they start thinking about longer-term replacements for aging players? I don't know, but if I'm Malcolm Rodriguez or Alex Anzalone, I'm paying attention to what happens next week. All right, cornerback room. We talked about Anzalone for the same reason we're going to talk about Amik Robinson. Amik Robinson, I think most Lions fans, when we signed him a year ago, were like, it's not a bad depth piece. But then as the season went on, you could see this kid could play. This cat's got some ability. And you know what? He's got some bite, too. He gets up in mugs' faces. He bumps them. He beats them. He gets physical with them. He jaws with them. And you know what? He's not a problem on the field, off the field, anywhere else. I don't know if you could ask for much more in an athlete than what you get from Amik Robinson. Talks well about the coaching staff. Talks well about the city. There's no downside to him other than cost to retain him and age starting to creep up. He's got 1-year deal left here. There have been some rumors. It's been real low that he's already asked for a new deal. I haven't found that corroborated anywhere. So I don't know. I guess take that with a grain of salt. But could the Lions look to address the cornerback room or safety room or whatever a little bit more? Yeah, I think they could. I think they probably should too at some point in the draft. Could it be on the wrong side of this thing? Maybe. We did talk about in the 5 headlines now a potential replacement, I guess you'd say, to bring on in. I think Amik is probably the only one really of note. I mean, you got some of the other guys lower on the depth chart that probably are sweating it out next week if we do select some cornerbacks. I mean, let's be honest. Rakestraw's got some expectations. You put a second-round pick into him, and now that he should be fully healthy, the hamstring, the glute muscle, and what was it, abdomen muscle as well, all were kind of messed up last year. I get why he couldn't play a ton. Because, hey, if you ain't got legs, you ain't got abdomen muscles helping you out, you're probably not doing too much running, let alone covering or hitting. But if he's right as rain, comes in and develops a little bit more, then, yeah, you're going to see some people in the cornerback room probably sweating a little bit. Safety position, I put about a 10% chance this could happen, that the Lions either don't re-sign or they trade Kirby Joseph. But I guess if you got a chance, it's a chance, right? I just don't think there's any way the Lions get rid of Kirby Joseph. But if they do draft a safety, like they talked about yesterday with Leak Starks or a different person in round 1 or 2, you probably do need to look at the Lions safety position and go, man, something's up here. Unless they're going to roll 90% of the time with 3 safeties out there, which, to be fair, they could do. You probably do have to start thinking, even if it's not Kirby Joseph, you probably got to look at Lawrence Strickland and hey, you're probably out of here. So will there be some people sweating in that position? Maybe a certain degree. But again, I think there's not much of a chance that something like that goes down. As far as Jack Fox and Jake Bates, I think, man, those guys are probably just playing a euchre tournament or something during the draft. I don't see the Lions looking to address either spot in any way, shape, or form. Same with long snapper. Been wrong before, but yeah, those guys are probably on a beach in Maui or someplace just hanging out, relaxing. They might have the most stress-free draft of anybody out there. All right, guys, you've heard me break it down. If there's something I missed, I'm sure you'll point out to me. Don't be afraid to. Let's go to the Duke Crew comment section, see what you guys have to say. I'm going to have to try to power through these a little bit because I got about 15 minutes and maybe I can push it to 20. But yeah, I got to get dressed up in some clothes and gear and breathing apparatuses and get ready to get on over to spend some time in the dirt. All right, Troy D, greetings, salutations, everyone in the Duke Crew. Back at you, my friend. Good to see you this morning. Brent, good morning, everyone. Going to be an interesting draft for sure. Oh, yeah, and I think you're spot on. We can go in 20 bajillion different directions, and I think most Lions fans, as much as we think we've got an idea what the team's going to do, we might find out how wrong that idea is. Mike the Marine Gunny, howdy, Dan, the Duke Crew. Woo, good to see you, Gunny. Am I wrong? It feels like it's been a few days since you've been here. Trey, what's good, everybody? Question mark. Hate to say it, but every year there are going to be players that are on the wrong side of the draft, 100%. I look at it this way. Roughly about 30% of your team are going to be new players. You know, with the draft picks, some non-drafted rookies that are coming every year. You're going to lose about 30% of your team. Brett, great Trey. There you go. Jess, greetings, salutations. I'm ready for the draft to be here. Love the mocks and all, but they are getting old. Everyone keeps changing what they think every team will select. I just want to know who we are getting. Well, I got good news. Just over 7 days from now, if you count the hours and everything, we're going to at least know what's happening in round one. Trim Reaper, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Woo! Back at you. Let of the Hunt. Let's see. I would say the younger, unproven players have the most to lose in next week's draft than older, signed, experienced veteran players. They will end up somewhere else. Could be. Harry Moore, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. What a team. What a podcast. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! And back at you. Hopefully you're having a good morning, my friend. Drake, good morning, Detroit D, Coach, Reaper, Han, Moore. Anyone look at Starks, maybe? The safety, I'm liking him the more I watch the film. You know, there's a couple guys at the safety spot I think are pretty similar. But with Malik Starks, I would say this. I think he's a linebacker that can fly. He hits real well, supports the run. He can make plays. He is a ball hawk back there. So to me, he hits all three aspects of a defensive back as far as what you could ask him to do. I like him, and if the Lions did add him, I won't be sad at all. I think he can, sort of like Brian Branch, he can play in the slot corner spot at times too. Hey, Moore, I'm going in for heart surgery on Wednesday. Hopefully I can watch the draft. Woo! Go Lions. Well, hey, man, sending thoughts, prayers, and hugs your way, man. Hopefully it's all red as rain. Yeah, thoughts and prayers for you, man. Trim Reaper, reminder, irony is getting a girl pregnant on the pull-out couch. Gotcha, man. France, Henry, wow, you okay? Question mark. Sending prayers, all goes well. Yeah, hoping all goes well. Harry Moore, 100%. France, 100%. Trim Reaper, good luck, Henry. I concurred. Prayers for you, Henry, says Gunny. Let's see, Shamir, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew, and back at you. Good to see you this morning. Clark, my question is, what spots are the most unlikely we could draft in round 1 or 2? I'll say running back. Yeah, I'll go with you there. Unless some stud, just unforeseen that this kid could fall that far to us, I agree with you. Because I do think if it's somebody who's like the second best, and I'm just making some stuff up here, if it's like the second or third best player in the entire draft and they're there at 28, I don't think Brad Holmes is going to care about, we need this. We're taking the second or third best player. That just seems to be how he drafts. All right, Miles Margaret, greetings, salutations, Coach and crew. All the best for you, Henry. Agreed. Henry Moore, just some kind of blockage. The doc says he wants to fix it. A fairly normal procedure. Let's hope it is, my friend. Big Eddie, greetings, salutations, Clark. I would throw a quarterback in there. No way Will Holmes pick a quarterback in the early rounds. Yeah, I'll go with that. I don't see it happening. Maybe round 3, but I would say if the Lions are going to address it, it's probably more like round 4, 5, 6, something like that. Trim Reaver, even the counter says, what the heck, after Monday and Tuesday? Yes, it does, my friend. Yes, it does. Big Eddie, hope all goes well and easy, Henry. More and good morning, Shamir Currington. There you go. Brett, the prayers for you, Henry. Agreed. Miles Morris, sounds like a stint, Henry. You'll rock it. Yes, you will. And hopefully, be ready for the draft. Miles Morris, hiya, Brett. Grit in the morning. Who doesn't like grit in the morning? Susan, good morning. I listened to a few mocks last night at the gym that felt James Pierce Jr. would be a strong fit for us because the talent and our leadership will guide him. Thoughts, Duke Crew? I won't spend a lot of time on this. I've seen some similar stuff. Here's what I'd say. It sounds like 99% of the experts, whatever, say he's a top 10 talent. But the off the field stuff could push him into the second, even third round or whatever. Well, that being said, I don't know, man. I've seen some people say, hey, the Philadelphia Eagles will be all over him if he's there at 32, and they're going to win yet again because they're gonna gamble, they're gonna roll the dice when you're gonna say on a guy with maybe some question marks that aren't that strong of question marks. That hey, they get him in the locker room, they get the right guys to protect him or whatever. He's gonna be fine. And I agree with that assessment. I think if the Philadelphia Eagles get him at 32, everybody's going to say, wow, they got a top 10 talent at 32, and now that defense is just even more incredible. I really hope that if he's there at 28, we take a strong look at him because the same reasons we were just mentioning with the Philadelphia Eagles, I think our locker room and our culture is strong enough to help him through many kind of speed bumps. All right, any more? Thanks, Duke Crew. I'm sure I'll be fine. Ain't scared, and nor should you be. You'll be totally fine. 5 fingers for Mike Green. Guess who I want to pick? I'm guessing it could be Mike Green. Silver, good morning, Coach and everyone. Back at you. Quentin, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Henry, you'll be good. Had it done twice. Just feels like someone punched you hard in the chest. I've never had it done, so I'll defer to your wisdom. All right, morning, Miles Meyer. David, Duke Crew, what if we gave up next year's first and this year's second to move up to number 3 and get Carter? ? Too much. I think he's a stud edge we need. Whew. That's not a bad question. I guess what I would say, Dave Bing, if it was me, I might do it. I might do it if when we give up next year's, next year's first. All right, so 2 things. We give next year's first and this year's second. Obviously, we're getting their first. I would want some lower round picks in return so we have the same amount of picks. So I'd say, all right, we'll give you these. You got to give us some, 5th, 6th, or 7th. Johnny L., good morning. Oh, Stephanie, let's try that again. Good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Oh, I hate it when my partner logs into my computer. Took me forever to remember my password. I'm so ready for the draft to be here and over. Yeah, a lot of people are. It's fun at first, but after a month or 2 of it, I get it, man. Silver, Susan, JPJ is way too light to play for Detroit. He really looks like a receiver. Tight end are bigger than him. They like pass rushing, but they don't want that edge sealer. A little more substance. Yeah, and I'm with you there, Silver. If they were to take him, I think it's with the idea that they got to slap 10 to 15 pounds on him. I want to say, don't hold me to this, I want to say he's like 245. So if you put 15, he's 260. I mean, he's not that far off Hutch at that point as far as mass. Phil, oh yeah, good morning, Duke Crew. Like the new thumbnail there, Phil. Hey, good morning. Trevor River, good morning, starting lineup. And back at you, Voltron, Dave Bing, I wouldn't be mad at all. He can take the pass rush to a whole new level. There is that too. Johnny L, Edge, I like the way you're thinking, Johnny. Pat, really, we can go in so many different directions to improve the quality of this team. I can't see how we lose. Me either, man. If you believe in the staff, if you believe in the scouts, Brad Holmes, whoever you want to list, I think, yeah, whoever we get is probably going to do pretty well in the opening rounds. King SJ, now talk about someone I haven't seen in a minute. Good to see you. Good morning, Coach and Lions fans. Back at you, King. Glad to see you in the chat. So Small, good morning, all. It's saying to you. Silver, Coach, let me congratulate you because it is very difficult to come up with subjects in the season and even during the season. You are here every morning, steadier than the weather forecast. Hey, I do what I can. And, you guys get it, man. I think if you watch most content or read articles, a lot of stuff's just going to be draft related and, similar topics. I get some people are going to throw stones at my windshield because some of the topics I come up with, may be outside the norm or whatever you want to say. I just do what I can to try to keep you guys entertained, have a good conversation, get everybody started on their mornings or their days on a good note, and just go from there, which, sometimes that works for people, sometimes it doesn't. But thank you very much for that, Silver. Johnny Edge, I think we might be on the same page there, Johnny. Brent, death taxes, Coach Dan, laughing out loud. I might have to steal that one. Thanks, Brent. Phil, we have no idea what the plan for the team is. A new staff, some new players. While the culture may stay the same, the scheme does not. No, I think you're right with that. I really like what I think we're going to get out of both the OC and DC. I think you're going to see some new flavor put on both tables there. And you know what? Catch some people off guard. I loved the run and shoot when we had it here in Detroit. I thought it was the greatest show on turf, whatever. And you could even say before the Rams did it, because Tom Moore was the OC here in Detroit. He really had an explosive offense. Some people like Scott Mitchell, some people didn't. I thought Scott Mitchell, if they would have went Warren Moon or Joe Montana, man, we might have won a Super Bowl with that group. But all right, that's neither here nor there. All right, Silver Star, happy belated birthday to Mekhi Wingo. Talk about somebody we're probably not talking about enough for next year. Year 2 jumper. That could be Mekhi Wingo. Johnny, what do you got? Dan is the best. Thank you for that. Thank you. Unless you're talking about MCDC, which, hey, I think he might be the best. Troy D, I think if Brad's guy is there in the top 15, he'll trade up, and he's not trading back. Great depth at edge and defensive tackle. Yeah, and that's why I agree with you, D. I think we're going to get some impact player, whether it's edge, defensive tackle, whatever. I don't know, but I could see us really stepping on up into that. Phil, I would love to see Coach step up a level in college hoops. I bet his team could be great quickly. It's just at my age now, man, Phil. It's just for those who don't know, I coached for a gajillion years. I used to just live and breathe this stuff, put in like 180-hour work weeks and stuff, coaching in college and stuff or overseas, and I love it to death. But at some point, you have to make some life choices, and I don't know. I think I was around 49 or 50 when I just said, hey, I was missing out on a lot of other things in life because friends would want to get together, do something here or there. And, I just couldn't because I had to go scout some kid, recruit some kid, go fly to a different country to watch some, 15 or 13-year-old kid play and stuff like that. And you got to have a life. And I would love to go back to coaching college and run the Loyola Marymount, the Go offense. I love it to death. I love putting up games with 150, 170 points. But it's a commitment. And even at the lower levels, like if you want to go junior college, for those who don't know, junior college, you probably put in about 80-hour work weeks. You're getting paid for an 8-month season, probably about like $5,000 to $10,000. So 15 cents an hour. And it just, you can't buy. The older we get, I'll say this to you. One thing you can't buy is time. So we'll see if it ever happens again. All right, non-lappers, good morning. Dan, the Duke Crew starters. And back at you. Kurt Steele, why is there a Miami Dolphin in the intro? So I'm not taking out any of the intros until we get to the 53-man count cut down. At that point, I know who's on the team, who's not. I just don't want to redo the intros and find out that, hey, this guy got cut, traded, whatever it is, and now I got to redo it again. Kim, the player with the most to lose is the one that has not been busting butt to improve. Coaches keep their eyes on development. I agree with that. And growth, I hope Martin is improving. Ooh, Martin shot. But, says Kim. Ken, good morning, Duke Crew. Woo, back at you. Moonscar, good morning, all. And same to you. Trim Reaper is laughing. Robert, no way, trade J-Mo. Yeah, I don't see it happening, Robert, but been wrong before, man. Let's see. Answer 14. Greetings, salutations, Coach of Duke Crew. Good to see you, man. It's been a hot minute since I've seen you. 14. 1 week, and we get our answers. True story there. Brad will improve this team. The fun part is we really don't know what Brad will do. I look at where we were 5 years ago and feel confident. Yeah, if you look back at where we were and where we've come in such a short amount of time, yeah, 100%, man, 100%. Trim Reaper, Dirty Dan, yeah, I'm going to be real dirty today, man. No doubt about it. Phil, is Dapper Dan your new character, possibly replacing Dan Adamas? No, sir. Dan Adamas is going nowhere. Too much fun with that one. Damon, pancakes and salutations, Dan and Duke Crew. I'll take all the above, my friend. 100%. Joseph C., good morning, Coach and Duke Crew! Exclamation point. It's almost draft time. Sure do miss everybody, but it won't be long. Pretty soon, I'll be able to watch every morning live again. Woo! What about a Sheila? You know what? Just for you, Joseph, we'll give you a Sheila. 1, 2, and a 3 as I scroll down the screen to find it. 1, 2, 3. And there you go. Rick in the mid. Good morning, Dan and crew. Same to you with Joseph. Good morning, Phil. Trim Reaper. How about a skipper wool? Yeah, I got it. I still got to edit it, though. Joseph C. Good morning, Moonscar. Phil. Greetings, salutations. Joseph C. You were my father's name nicely. Yes, he does. Moonscar, basically, Brand Holmes said they didn't want to put Hooker into that situation. It's what he said. Yes, correct with that. Yeah, I agree with it, man. Hi, Joseph C. Says Moonscar. Phil, wouldn't it be a great adventure for Jen to live in the places you could be employed? Dubai is pretty nice. Dubai is real nice. And as far as being a coach in those markets, they take dang good care of you. And not that other places don't. I mean, I personally loved working in China. I thought the people were great. The franchises were great. The whole shebang bang. It's just, yeah, she is not open to those ideas at this time. See, Joe C, father's name. There you go. Bo Booth. Good morning, Dooku. Looking out on the bright side of life. Woo! Hey, always got to look up for the bright side, right? And good morning, Bo. Matt, was it? Please tell me we're drafting a couple edge early, first pick edge. Could be. I'd say, Matt, that's probably where most of us are hoping that will go. But I also think Brad Holmes is going to say, man, if we're picking at whatever selection and it's not the best player is an edge, he's probably just going to go with the best player. Kerry, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you. Kim, I don't think Bridgewater wants full-time football. He has a sweet deal with the Lions. They have high respect for each other and fulfill a mutual need. I think that's very well said, Kim. Very well said. Phil, yes, my father's name was Joseph C. Phil, a great man that died way too young. Sorry to hear that. Thoughts and prayers there, Phil. All right, Matt, I wouldn't be mad drafting O-line, wide receiver, big after we diligently address the edge. Yeah, and I think you're probably going to see all those selections in some sort of order come next week. Josie, Hex, yes. What did the C stand for? We'll find out, Joseph. Same with mine. Mine died at the age of 35. Man, that's way too young, man. Sorry about that, Joseph. Phil, our last name, laughing out loud, Italian. Yeah, you got to love the Italian, man. Josie, I was 12 years old helping him hang sheetrock when he fell off the scaffold and had a massive heart attack. Sorry to hear that, man. Really, truly sorry to hear that. Bo, my mom's dad was also named Joseph. There you go. Dog Kong Dan will shock us all. Prepare yourself now. We are all going to get prepared. And good morning, Don Kong. Phil, my dad died at 54. I was 8th grade. Sorry to hear that, man. Yeah, it's never fun, man. Yeah, all right. Brian, good morning. Also, there's not calling Dan Campbell a meathead anymore. Laughing out loud. Dan Campbell is just one of the best we've had. He is, man. And again, when you have professionals and a group of them at the university level, especially if you're talking about Harvard and Harvard Business School, and some of the other ones, the prominent ones out there, when they're studying somebody who's had success, and that happens in most top 500 companies, they want to see what they can do to replicate it. And obviously, Dan Campbell is now a target of interest. Josie, I was in the 7th grade. Sorry to hear that. Phil, Coach Dan shocks us every morning with his good looks and superior mind. Hey, the power of Mountain Dew, my friend. Power of Mountain Dew. Bo, funny how media attitudes change. Yes, they do, man. Yes, they do. Josie, I'm sorry you had to go through that, Phil. Yeah, no, it's never fun. I mean, my dad passed away when I was, I want to say, 32. Yeah, and he was, to be fair, he was in his 70s. He had a little bit of a health issue for a while, but it's just never fun anytime you lose a parent. So thoughts and prayers to all you guys. Moonscar, you guys are making me depressed. All right, we'll try to chip her up. We had a great leader. Yes, we do. Dan, Ditto Moonscar says, Bo, Moonscar, sorry, Moonscar. Derek, for sure, Moonscar, let's talk football. We're on it. Phil, I will never got in trouble. Worked full-time, played sports, played guitar, and church. We all did great. We did. Phil, God bless us, everyone, 100%. Brent, laughing out loud. When other NFC North fans say that MCDC isn't a good coach, only a good motivational speaker. Hey, that's part of coaching, is getting your people to do something they intrinsically don't want to do. If you can do that, you've probably done more than your fair share. Detroit Lions bad guys sounds good, Maxwell. There you go. Josh, hello, and good morning, everyone. Back at you, Josh. Good to see you this morning. Bo, we were Harrison. Where will Harrison be drafted? I guess we'll have to wait and see next week there, Bo. Moonscar, Phil, Pound, 100%. Phil, what I look forward most is Dan doing play-by-play, enjoying his game call. Yeah, I enjoy that stuff too, man. So this, preseason games, regular season games, I'll continue to do that stuff. I just like it. I'll try to improve upon it more. Gary, Harmon, Ivy, and re-sign Zeke could be. Eric, good morning, Dooku. Same to you, Eric. Hopefully it's a good start to your day. Southwest, we could use another speed receiver. I do think we're going to go with that. I know you and I have talked about a couple different guys of interest. I know there's some people I favorite in the middle to later rounds. I just think the value's more there than in the early rounds, but we'll see what shakes out. Joe C, I'm with you. Carry on Jared Ivy. I think a lot of people are on the Ivy train. Pierce, say no to Davenport, everybody. All right, I'm going to leave that to you, man. Bo, no Pierce. All right. Pierce, Bo Booth, laughing out loud. Phil, if Lions sign Z and have Davenport to rotate, we should be great both edge. Yeah, I think we will from a depth standpoint. Bo, laughing. Brent, keep Zaboom in the D. Oh yeah, I'm down with that with an exclamation point. Moonscar, right, Brent, D. They all love Bill Coward. He wasn't much more than a motivational speaker. MCDC is this generation's Bill Coward. That's actually, I think, an outstanding point. Paris, Phil, just as far as the is this moment, Devin Hurt is the starter, and I really don't like it. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be the starter. Been wrong before, though. Paris, coach, how is the skipper rule coming? It's in development. We'll put it that way. Milesbar, Jared Goff all day long. I like it. Carrie, Aaron, Carrie, I would love that. Brent, Moonscar Blade, interesting comparison. MCDC Coward, yes, indeed. Silver Server, if Davenport is healthy, he will be a load to deal with. Waiting for reinforcements anyways, right? Agreed. Silver Surfer, that is a huge if. It is, Pierce, it is. Let's see, Moonscar, Tom Brady couldn't run either. He could not. Montana could a little bit. Steve Young really could. Warren Moon could, a little bit, I guess. And, you go through the NFL history books, there's tons of guys, even nowadays, that aren't the greatest passers, but they have some ability. Silver Server smiling. Pierce, Marcus Davenport has the most to lose. It might be true, but his contract is going to make it hard to get rid of him just because it's so cheap. Brent, how many games do we think Devin Hurt will play? I'm going to go with 9. I'm going to go with 9 this year. Bo, if it is in the middle of life, I'll go with that. Moonscar, Brent DeWint, did you see Bill Cowher interview MCDC last year? He basically said it himself. Golf, question mark, no. I'll go with that, Damien. Pierce, Brent DeWitt, my favorite stat, average 7 games per year the last 3 years. Hey, if I get 9, I'm superseding the average then. Joseph, he sure does, Pierce. Bo, good morning, Dan and Duke Crew, back at you. Let's see, Pierce, just see, like his roster spot. All right, Kerry, Davenport played great when he was in there, but really have to be ready for injuries. Yeah, and that's the problem with him is he gets injured a lot. Brent, I'll have to check that out, Moonscar Blade. Bo, hey, boo-boo, there you go. Bobo, all right. Derek, I think Hooker would love to get a shot on another team. If I'm him, an opportunity, a chance to start, I totally would get the enticement there. Pierce, Kerry, it's not if Devin Hurt gets hurt, when will Devin Hurt head to the IR? We'll find out. Bo, I saw that interview. Bo, hi there, Bo Booth. All right. Silver Server, Davenport is a bonus. I bet paid basically by the game. They're not counting on him, but just that if by any string of luck he plays the whole season, he's going to help out a lot. Yeah, I would agree with that. If they can keep him healthy, he could help. Craig Reynolds lives to be on the edge. It doesn't seem to bother him. No, I think he understands. Teams just don't make big bets on him, but you know what he is doing? He's staying alive in his NFL career, and good for him for doing that, man. I agree with you, Damon. Bo, agreed. Server. Robert, I get the Kentucky cornerback more speed. There you go. And not a bad call there, Robert. Pierce, I am just waiting for the help to come to supplant Devin Hurt as a starter. Probably is going to happen. It's my guess, at least. Big D, Woodward had a good show about J-Mo. We ain't moving J-Mo. He's a Lion for good. I would think so, too. Both, I don't see a J-Mo trade, me neither, but if somebody's going to pay a gajillion draft picks for him, maybe. Let's see, Moonscar Blade, DetroitLions.com, Tim 20-man article, February 8th, 2024, Bill Cowher, Dan Campbell reminds me of myself. Hey, good call there, Moonscar. Brent, I do like the way the Lions structured Davenport's contract, though. The more he plays, the more he gets paid. Yes, indeed with that. Good call on that, Brent. Brad knows. Yes, he does. He knows something. Just see, if we are going to have to let go of a few people, it's just too many to pay. Yeah, you're not going to be able to keep everybody, especially if you draft players, you bring in new players, other people got to go. Pierce, just see, facts. Silver, right, Pierce, but send some positive thoughts towards Marcus. That won't hurt his chances. You got to think positively, right? Just see, I would rather have Brian Branch over Kirby Joseph if I had to pick out of them too. Yeah, and there would probably be some that would go that way too. Pierce, Silver, fine. Philippines on demand. Big D sucks. Exclamation point. This is the Lions Talk Live show. Don't promote garbage on the speculative sports show. All right, we'll go with that. Let's see, Moonscar Blade. I keep saying this. Davenport plays more than 4 games, and if he gets 3 sacks and some pressures, money well spent. That's a low bar, but it is, the money. 100%. Yeah, the bar is not high for Davenport, I think. Gary Brentwood, I believe that is how all contracts should be structured. You're not wrong. I get why they don't nowadays because you're in a bidding war with other people for free agents, but I get what you're saying there. All right, Pierce. Oh, Broderick, the bus Martin. He might be, man. Patrick, age isn't kind to anyone. No, you're not wrong. It wears on all of us. Bo, do you think they bring back Saboom? And no, J-Mo is not going where? No, I think J-Mo's staying here. And do I think Zadarius Smith comes back? I do. Unless some team just overpays to get him. Now, seems like Glenn didn't want to put the time into Broderick Martin. Could be true. Silver Server, Golf is not on the hot seat. If he goes to the playoffs and plays again his worst game, that is another story. But he still all comes to who the Lions got behind him, and I don't see anyone. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Goff's in any kind of trouble, but to your point, if something happened, the Lions get to the playoffs next year and he throws, 29 gajillion interceptions in the first drive, then maybe they start considering something. Damien, Decker and Glasgow definitely will be feeling it during the draft. This draft proves a lot of their provides a lot of their positions. I agree with that, Damien. Sorry, I got tongue-tied twisted. DM5 TV, Davenport is finally going to show out, stay healthy, and exceed expectations. I like the way you're thinking. Silver Server, right? The bad guy, Jared Campbell, can replace Anzalone. Got to watch his tape, and he's great in coverage linebacker. He's a great everything linebacker. Could be. And I won't be surprised if they draft a future replacement for Alex Anzalone. I don't really want to see him go. I think most of the fans like him. But at the same time, his contract's going to get up there. His age is going to get up there a little bit. It happens. I don't care if you're Isaiah Thomas, Adrian Dantley, or, I don't know, Earl Campbell. It's going to happen. Or Rob Deere. Rob Deere eventually got replaced too. Pierce, Detroit Lions bad guy. I think Captain Jack takes the green dot and Jared Campbell moves to off the ball to replace Captain Jack. Could be. J-Mo Lion King, good to see him. Feels like it's been a minute. AA still has the speed and understands the defense very well. Until he loses the speed, he stays, in your opinion. Could be 100% true. That Jade spot for sure, off ball, and love it. 100% bad guy. DM5 TV. All I know is we got to win the chip this year. We're not wasting Gibbs, J-Mo, St. Brown talent. Go Lions. Well, let's hope we do win it all. That would be great. All right, a couple more here, and then I'm probably going to have to get out of here. I've already gone into overtime for me. Silver Sword, how Yaboom is going to do. We haven't seen him in the system yet, although he could have been said because there is a new OC. They will stay the same from last season. Could be they stay the same. Pierce, Detroit's bad guy, would be scary level, second level. It would be. Brett Meek the freak proved his mettle when he shut down JJ against the Vikings. Love that guy. Oh, yeah. Bo, replacing AA is not as easy as many think. I would agree with that 1,000%. Bad guy, imagine the trade up to get Jay Campbell, and then we trade up and get Landon Jackson. Defense is pretty complete. It would be a very strong defense, at least on paper. Pierce, Bo Booth, Cam Jack did get great when AA went down. He did. He definitely had a better second year than first year. Oh, he did, Pierce, but DM5 is, hey, speaking of Kirby, I had a dream last night that he made a pivotal pick to see us going to the Super Bowl. Go Lions. Let's hope that dream comes to fruition. Pierce, Bo Booth, I do see both sides of Anzalone. There you go, Pierce. The safety I like if we go that route is Xavier Watts. Okay, I'll pay attention to him. Silver Star, I really hope Broderick Martin will do well. I just cannot see it. It all depends on how much better he got at the off season. He needs to find that determination within himself. I'll go with that. Brett, defense suffered without AA. It did. And you can see the difference as soon as he got back. Michael, we don't draft Georgia player or Ohio State players. All right, we'll take them off the list. Bad guy, prayers, Henry Moore, 100% with that. Gary, with the way Anzalone played last year, he's not going anywhere. He is the boss of the backfield. I'll take that. Moonscar, ditto, sending prayers at Henry. I'll go with that. Everybody send Henry some prayers. Pierce, prayers for you, Henry. Phil, heart cath is not surgery. It's a procedure. I worked in the heart cath lab for 20 years. You probably know way more than most of us. Bo, being the captain of the defense is more than just your own performance. Concur. Pete K, why would Hooker care? Question mark. He'll somewhere else to compete, to play. Sorry, Dan, bad take. It happens, man. It happens. Phil, Henry, unless there's a blockage they can't fix, a stent is a good thing. Just be a prophylaxis for 6 months. Okay. Silver Server, many analyze Goff and wonder, does he have what it takes? Question mark. I tell you, the only thing that matters is the question, quote, is it in Goff's destiny to win a bowl with Detroit? If we ain't, there is nothing to do. All right, fair enough. Phil, I had quadruple bypass 7 years ago without a cath. I wouldn't be here. Good to know. Good to know. And thankfully you are here. Mike DeMarian, Phil, thank God. DM5, hit the like button, guys. Silver Surfer, always call on the Angels, Henry, even for parking. All right. Patrick, Phil, love the avatar. I remember those gas stations very well when you could fill up your car for $5 and get change back. Phil, can't buy time. No, you cannot. Silver, no, coach. I don't think that was his playing weight. It's small frame. All right. Paul, wouldn't know. Let's see. Good morning, Coach Dan Ducru. Go Pistons. Knicks going down Sat night. Let's hope so. Pierce, Josie Skipper is the best. Woo! I'll go with that. Trimmer, have a great day, coach and crew. Woo! Eddie's Fish. Lions need to bring me in as the conditioning coach. We'll see if we can sign you up. Sir, I think he packed some weight for the combine that didn't affect his straight speed. Could be wrong, but looking at the film, he's more like 230 pounds. All right. JP Jr., that is. All right, thank you for that, Silver. Does a week have 180 hours? You got to make those hours sometimes. Jonathan, good morning, Duke Crew. DM5, would we take Shador if he fell to us? I don't know, man. I don't think so, but been wrong before. Bo, happy trails, Duke Crew. Back at you. Brent, happy trails. One Pride Worldwide. Oh, yeah. Silver Surfer. No. Carrie, happy trails, Duke Crew. Miles Margaret, One Pride. Miles Margaret until tomorrow. Dawn, y'all. We'll get up. And Brian, best show in the galaxy. Thank you for that. Hey, made it through all the comment section. I didn't think I would. All right, guys. If there is breaking news later today, I'll get it over to you as soon as possible. Before you leave, if you could hit the thumbs up button, if you could hit the subscribe button, you could hit all the buttons. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be a good human being. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. And we'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody.
Happy trails.